What is gender? Gender describes the different ways in which society refers to sexual difference. Traditionally, this used to be referred to as male and female, boy and girl, man and woman. Recently, more terms have been introduced to describe those people who identify as gender fluid or as transgender. Gender fluid. This term is used by people who do not identify as being specifically male or female, or who feel they move between feeling more male or more female at different times. Transgender. This relates to people who are born as one gender but identify as another. For example, someone might have been born as female but consider themselves male. It's crucial that all aspects of gender are treated with the same dignity and rights as each other. This means that those who identify as female, male, gender fluid, and transgender have absolutely equal rights. What is a stereotype and why are they dangerous? A stereotype is a mistaken idea or belief that some, or even many, people have about a person or group based only on how they look on the outside. Stereotypes are often totally untrue. It can be positive or negative. For example, some common stereotypes are that Asians are better at maths than others, or African Americans have a greater athletic ability than other races. Whilst this may feel positive to that race, it isn't necessarily true. Stereotyping people is a form of prejudice, which is an opinion, usually an unfavourable one, formed without reason, evidence, or experience. This usually leads to discrimination, which is an action based on prejudice. These aspects are dangerous because they change how a person is thought of and treated by making a judgment on how someone looks, and looks can certainly be deceiving. Take a look at the following pictures. Which of them would you guess was the most dangerous? And conversely, which would you guess is the least dangerous? This picture is a character called Ted Bundy. And Ted Bundy, although he's got a lovely smiling face in the picture, confessed to 30 murders. This particular picture is of Osama bin Laden, and he is responsible for genocide. He was behind the attack on the Twin Towers in New York, Manhattan, in 2001. Here's another smiling face, but this picture is of Adolf Eichmann, and he was a Nazi war criminal from the Second World War and was responsible for millions of deaths in gas chambers. This final picture is a person who has a less smiling face, a bit stern, you might say. This gentleman is called Laszlo Biro, and he brought a great deal of usefulness to the world. He is the person who invented the ballpoint pen, and that's been used by very many millions of people the world over. Long-held gender stereotypes. Upbringing. Many people first learn about stereotyping from their upbringing. Some people believe that some books, toys, television programs, and games are more suitable for one gender rather than another. Often, we do not even realize that we have these beliefs. Look at the following toys. Which do you think of as girls' toys, and which do you think of as boys' toys? Which gender do you associate with these colours? Pink, blue, green. Have you ever wondered why? Expectations of roles in school. The same can be said in school. It's often said that boys are better than girls at maths and science, whilst some think of cooking and drama as girls' subjects. Is this true? What do you think? We even discriminate in sports. Are there any valid reasons for this? Expectations for future roles. Gender stereotyping can change how we think subconsciously, that is, mould our beliefs and expectations of ourselves without us even realising it. This can limit our career choices and lead us to settle for second best. Look at these statistics. In engineering jobs, 80% are males. In nursing, nearly 90% of nurses and health visitors are female. In the armed forces, 90% are male. In primary schools, 15% of teachers are male. In secondary schools, 36% of teachers are male. In secondary schools, 66% of head teachers are male. What changed gender stereotypes in the past? The Second World War was the reason for many changes to role. Because so many of the able-bodied men were away fighting in the war, their jobs had to be taken by women. Not only did women have the opportunity to prove their ability, but they also changed what they wore and their role within the family. How have gender stereotypes affected careers and pay? In many careers, men have traditionally been paid more than women for doing exactly the same job. Following the Sex Discrimination Acts of 1974 and the Equality Act of 2010, this is now illegal, but there are still many examples of where this discrimination still exists. Perhaps the most dramatic example of this is in sport. In football, the most expensive transfer was Neymar, who transferred from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain for £198 million in 2017. Gareth Bale holds the UK record for the most expensive player. He's from Wales, and he was transferred at £86 million when he moved from Spurs to Real Madrid in 2013. In comparison, Ada Hegerberg of Norway, she plays for Olympique Lyonnais, was the highest paid female soccer player in 2019 with an annual income of £343,000 a year. Compare this with the best paid male player, Lionel Messi, who received 326 times that amount in the same year. That's a figure of £112 million for the year. What reasons do you think lie behind these pay differences in sport? In a survey held in 2019, it was suggested that there was a pay gap of nearly 12% between men and women. That means that, on average, each male was paid 12% more than a female for doing the same job as each other. In the United States of America, this gap is even wider at 18%. Whilst this is not true in every job or career, it does suggest that there is still a problem in equality of pay. How do we change this discrimination? Feminism. This is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunity and include organised activities on behalf of women's rights. Many people think that this movement only started in the 20th century when women fought for the right to vote, the suffragettes. But in fact, it can be dated right back to the 3rd century BC. What does the law say about gender discrimination? The Equality Act of 2020 says that you must not be discriminated against because you are or are not a particular sex. Someone thinks you are a particular sex. This is known as discrimination by perception. You are connected to someone of a particular sex. This is known as discrimination by association. Exceptions. Some jobs are exceptions to these laws because it is believed that there are good and fair reasons why only one gender can take on the role. For example, an Orthodox synagogue, that's a Jewish place of worship, is allowed to advertise for a male-only rabbi, and similarly, a Catholic priest can only be male. In schools, a PE teacher position can advertise specifically for a male or female because of the need to be around specific changing rooms. Do you agree with these exceptions? Quotation. One of the leading speakers for gender equality is the actress Emma Watson. I'm willing to be seen. I'm willing to speak up. I'm willing to keep going. I'm willing to listen to what others say. I'm willing to go to bed each night at peace with myself. I'm willing to be my biggest, best, most powerful self.